like to call the, what are we, September 11th, 2025 meeting of the Bloomington Historic Preservation Commission to order. Eddie, would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Duncan Campbell.
Here.
Karen Duffy.
Here.
Elizabeth Mitchell. Ernesto Castaneda.
She's not on
Daniel Schlegel.
Here.
Sam DeSaller.
Here.
Reynard Cross.
Here.
Jack Baker. Jeremy Hackard.
Here.
Melody Dusner.
All right,
You have four.
thank you. I will entertain a motion on the minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes with an edit under approval of the minutes. We need to clarify that Chris Sturbaum was speaking for himself and not on the behalf of the commission. It currently reads that the commission is advocating for everything that Chris Sturbaum discussed, where the intent is the exact opposite of that.
Well, I mean, it's
I thought we took care of that at the last meeting.
In here,
it just shows up in the minutes again.
yeah, it shows up the meeting minutes right here,
Oh, okay.
and it's not correctly
okay.
stating what
Okay, I see.
was amended in the
Yeah,
minutes.
we were happy to hear what we had to say, but we're not endorsing everything that he says,
Okay,
ever. All right. Do I have a second for approving the minutes with that amendment?
I'll second.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay. All right. Daniel Schlegel.
Yes.
Sam DeSaller.
Yes.
Reynard Cross.
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard.
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right. Our program manager is online. All right. Can you hear us, Noah?
Can
Can you
hear
turn
us?
him up?
Turn up a little.
Just a second here.
I think you need to go to the right.
Yeah, go to
corner.
the speaker.
Yep. All the way over to the right, yep, and turn up there, yes, please.
That's
All right,
yeah.
can you hear me now?
Yes, much
Perfect.
better, thank you, Noah.
All right. So I'm going to read the procedural. At this point in the meeting, what?
There's someone waiting to be let in. I just want to make sure Janice
Thank you.
hears it as well.
All right. Are we good up there? Thank you. Okay, at this point, the Historic Preservation Commission will hear petitions for certificates of appropriateness followed by demolition delays. We might have some staff reviews before that, but for each item in the Historic Preservation Program Manager, Noah, will first present a staff report. We'll hear if petitioner has any additional information, probably around questions from each commissioner. We ask that petitioners, the public, and commissioners refrain from speaking until addressed by the chair, unless the question is directly addressed to them. If a member of the public or a petitioner wishes to comment, please raise your hand until recognized by the chair. On completion of public comments, the chair will entertain motions from the commissioners regarding the relevant certificate of appropriateness or demolition delay. Once a motion is made by a commissioner, the chair then opens up a discussion of the item for members of the commission only. The chair will call for a vote once each commissioner has been given a chance to comment on the motion. We encourage all commissioners, petitioners, and members of the public to be civil and respectful at all times. And additionally, since we are barely at quorum, we will check in probably around 6:30 and may take a 5-ish minute break so people can decamp and come back, which I think will help that. So we'll please anticipate that. Noah?
Okay. First item of the evening, COA application 2559. This is for 115 East Wiley Street, Maryland Heights Historic District. Petitioner is Betsy Steerett. Built in 1926, 1115 East Wiley is an English cottage style house, sharing some characteristics like massing with a more elaborate Tudor revival style. This building is currently clad in vinyl siding, soon to be replaced with LP. So we are proposing to add 2 black steel handrails to the limestone steps in front of the house. Currently there are no handrails, and we want to place one attached to the limestone steps next to the lower step and one attached to the upper steps on the left-hand side. We will use clutch fabrication and design to make and install the railings. This is the design that's being proposed. Well, at any rate, staff approves COA 2559. There are currently no railings on the front steps of 1115 East Wiley, and the proposed replacements are the style and material that can be found throughout the district and have been approved for recent railing projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, it's been approved. Next item on our list, moving on to staff recommendations for commission review. COA 2554 for 301 East Glendora Drive, in the Matlock Heights Historic District. Petitioner is Micah Heath.
Is the petitioner here?
Is the
Is the
petitioner
petitioner
present?
present? Or online?
Is the petitioner online? Eddie?
Hold on just a moment. I'm not seeing anything.
All right, well, we will kick that back until the end if they show up, but
Okay.
so if we would move on to the next one.
Okay, well, this would be easy. COA application 2555, 1118 South Madison in the McDowell Historic District. Petitioner is Shirley Schooley. Is the petitioner present?
She is online.
No,
That one's, that was the last,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Built in 1951, 1118 South Madison is a substantially altered minimal provision ranch. The petitioners are requesting to fill in a non-contributing pool in the backyard of the property. This pool is a 43-year-old in-ground pool that was removed due to massive disrepair and insurmountable costs to restore with no guarantee of long-term positive results. This disrepair includes problems with the pump system, the filter system, liner leaking, plus the diving board. The pool cavity will be filled in with crushed stone and filled dirt, finished with topsoil. At that point, grass and small plants or shrubs will be installed.
So the petitioner have anything to add?
Sorry.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Just that I'm, wanting to get it filled in because, my husband's passed away and I don't know how to swim. And,
Okay.
my kids are all gone and the grandkids are all working and there's no one to use it, so, and it's really a danger to me to be around it, so the kids worry that I'm even around it.
Hear that.
So it's time to fill it in and have the worry gone, you know. It's been in the ground 43 years and it's really been nice, you know, during the time we used it, but now it's just not being used.
Thank you. Have we heard anything from the neighborhood on that, Noah?
No, I haven't.
All right.
Well, no, I heard from the neighborhood saying that they don't really care whether there's a pool backyard or not.
All right. Yeah.
Well, that sort of goes along with my staff recommendation, that is that the property and swimming pool are not contributing resources in the historic district, and the in-ground pool is located in the backyard, minimally visible from the street. Nevertheless, because this is technically a demolition in a historic district, it needs commission review. The filling in of the pool would not constitute an adverse change to the historic character of the district. Any subsequent landscaping in this area of the yard would not be subject to review.
Thank you. Sorry to cut you off, sir. Do we have any questions from the commissioners? Jeremy, Bernard, Buddy, Aaron, Daniel, one for me. Any comments, questions from the public? Any comments? Jeremy, Bernard?
Well, we gotta do a motion first.
We gotta do, we gotta do, yeah, you're right, we have to do a motion, my bad. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve COA 2555.
Right. Do I have a second? Second? Comments now?
No comments.
Comments?
I have no issue for the new pool.
Comments? Comments? Comments?
This will be easy.
No comments. Would you call the roll?
Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Renard Cross.
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you for coming in. No, we'll get you a certificate and you can start planting some stuff.
Thank you very much.
Take care. You can decamp if you don't you know, unless you want to stay for something else.
Do we need to stay for that, or is that something that'll be sent to us?
He's sick and you don't want to be around him right now, so, yeah, just call his
I
office.
enjoy the company.
Okay.
It'll be sent to you.
Call,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Next item we have tonight, COA 2556, the application for 301 East 15th Street in the Garden Hill Historic District. The petitioner is Chrissy Gill. Looks like she's online.
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent, thank you.
Built in 1950, 301 East 15th Street is a minimally altered limestone ranch with replacement windows and doors. Site also includes a limestone retaining wall and cinder block garage built into the side of the slope. The garage is in a severe state of deterioration. The request that I received it. My name is Christina Giels. I'm the property owner and manager of the residence located at 301 East 15th Street in the Garden Hill neighborhood. Situated on the northwest corner of the property is a detached garage that has remained unused for several years. Following recent periods of heavy rainfall, the condition of the garage has significantly deteriorated. The mortar along the back wall has eroded extensively, resulting in a loss of structural integrity and raising potential safety concerns. Given that the garage is not classified as a contributing structure to the historic district, the historic character of the property, I am requesting a certificate of appropriateness to proceed with its demolition as soon as possible. Upon removal of the garage, I intend to install a retaining walls along the south and east boundaries of the current structure's footprint. Please see attached photo for reference. This photo here is a sample of what the petitioner intends to install. It's not the site yet because the garage is not yet demolished. If the existing concrete slab remains in good condition after demolition, I plan to retain it to serve as an off-street parking area for the residents. Thank you for your consideration and request. Please let me know if there's any additional information or documentation required.
Does the petitioner have anything to add?
I do not at this time. I had met with a consultant from Thrasher Landscaping, and we are able to install the new retaining wall that would replace the faces of the garage that are coming down in the same style as the limestone wall that is already on the property. And we want to retain that same aesthetic, so we are committed to making sure that that is done in the same style and is, you know, fluid with the rest of the retaining wall.
Thank you. Have we heard anything back from the neighborhood on that, Noah?
No, I haven't.
All right. Go ahead.
So, my recommendation, all of the garage at 301 East 15th Street is close in age to the contributing house on the property, is rated on the state survey as non-contributing structure. This has been corroborated by the head of the Indiana Department of Historic Preservation Archaeology Survey Program, who identified the limestone retaining wall and the house as the two contributing resources on this lot. The cement block garage has been unused and deteriorating for many years. Recent storms have caused substantial buckling in the rear wall, posing a safety issue for residents. The proposed demolition, replacement with a small alley side parking area, and installation of a limestone retaining wall would be an appropriate change for the site. That would not result in a substantial loss of historic character. It should be noted, however, and I hope that somebody from planning is here, that the UDO guidelines may require primary access to the parking area be from the alley.
Thank you. Do we have anybody from planning attending the meeting, either virtually or? Would you like to address concerns from planning?
Sure. So while that current structure there is okay to continue as a garage in that location, due to its lawful nonconformity, as we call it, that does not grant the property owner a uncovered parking space in that same area. So our code states that when a property has an improved alley access, they must use the improved alley for their one allowable vehicle access. So you don't get multiple drives per parcel. So a drive or parking area would need to come off the alley. The other complication is that this is a corner lot, as well as being adjacent to an alley. So North Lincoln, there between the building wall of the primary home and North Lincoln is considered the front yard, as well as 15th between the front building wall and the street. So we can't have specifically a parking area within that front yard either.
So the setback for this lot is,
The front setback,
yeah, how far would they have to set back a parking area?
it would have to be,
Is this an R3?
this would be mixed-use student housing, so
Oh.
MS, and it would need to be 20 feet behind the front building wall
Behind the front building wall, all right.
on each front.
So their options are to put a parking space that far back, or perhaps rebuild the garage.
A garage would also need to use alley access.
If they use the existing garage, if they repair it,
They could repair the garage.
if they repaired the garage, they could do that.
Mhm.
Okay,
I think what we would be looking for, if you were going to completely get rid of the garage, we would probably want to see plans for parking that is 20 feet behind the front building wall from Lincoln, and access via the alley, or perhaps the restoration of the sidewalk and tree plot along Lincoln, to remove the drive cut there, and perhaps they could request a variance or some other relief to be parking a little bit closer to Lincoln, if there was a problem with the grading of that area that you would use for parking.
okay. So to the petitioner, this is probably a lot to digest right off the bat. And we're happy to go and talk about what, allowing you to demolish the garage. But at this point, is that something you are still interested in doing? We could also table this so that you have some time to think about it, and you can come back at the next meeting after you've had some time to think about it, and we could address it then.
I am open to that. I will say that my main priority is removing the existing structure that is there now, because it is very tempting for the college kids to climb up there, and we've put fencing and signs and all of that, and they just ignore that and continue to get up there. So my main goal is to remove the existing structure as it currently is. I am open to your suggestions of seeking to get a variance, or potentially would we be able to just fill that space in with land and extend the yard to that corner where the garage was?
I think the COA that is just for the demolition
Yeah.
of the building.
Yes.
So any discussion about what's gonna go back in or what you may do would need to come back as a separate COA, which would give you an opportunity to work with planning on what's allowable, so you can come back to this body and make sure that you have the appropriate review.
Okay.
So if we limit the discussion to the demolition of the garage, everybody's on board with that. Bernard?
But just for some clarity, does the removal of the structure trigger any requirement on the homeowner immediately? Like, once it's removed,
I believe that the main thing that it does is if you remove the garage, you are not allowed to build a garage in that same place again.
Correct, I understand that.
Okay.
Right. But what I'm asking is, could the land just remain empty, or is there a legal requirement to do something with that land once the garage is removed? Because I heard words about filling it in and doing all these other things. Are those requirements triggered immediately upon the removal of the garage?
I don't believe there's anything that they would need to do if they just removed the garage and didn't use it for parking.
Okay, but you,
They'll
Again,
eventually
just-
have to put some bushes or something there, yeah.
right, but I did hear
Sure.
something about removing the driveway up to the garage or something like that.
Right, so that would be in the instance of creating a second driveway. So if you were going to, if there's not currently access from the alley, and you created access from the alley to get to a parking area, we need to remove access from Lincoln. So that's if you're doing yet another project beyond the demolition
Okay.
of the structure, would we need to have that?
All right, so let's go around with questions.
I don't have
Questions?
any other questions.
Any
I
other questions?
just asked mine. So.
Questions, 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 questions?
Yeah, is not the reconstruction or the new construction of the limestone retaining wall part of the COA?
I don't believe so.
Certainly mentioned.
Yeah.
Yes, and if we are to install any kind of retaining wall there at all, it will be in the same, design and style as the existing one there for continuity's sake. We are committed to that.
I have a question.
Jeremy?
Could we, say we would, approve this, but maybe remove that last part about the next step and just say this, we're approving it for the demolition only, and then that would allow the
petitioner
The
to pursue
petitioner.
multiple,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, the reason that I ask is that the garage is actually retaining the alley.
Right,
It's actually, it doesn't look like it, well, yeah, I guess it is.
a little bit.
So if you take it out, now the alley is
Unsupported.
compromised. So
Mm.
it seems to me that integral to removal is some kind of retention of that alley wall.
I mean, they could just fill it in with soil to temporarily do it, but to, remove it with,
I'm just suggesting that they can't take the garage out without consequential construction of some kind. So it seems to me that if you approve the demolition of the garage, you also have to
say what happens
deal with that
immediately after. Shall we ask the petitioner what?
That's why I thought the C of A included the retention wall, because that would be compensating for the removal of the garage at that location.
Well, actually, I don't know that it would, because the retaining wall was gonna go back, I guess it would be like
It would have to be.
it'd have to be a U-shaped
three-sided.
retaining wall.
It would have to be three-sided.
Yeah, three-sided retaining wall. So, good point.
So,
All right, do we have comments or questions from the public?
If they just take the top off, that's the dangerous part when students jump off of it, take the top off and leave the structure.
Leave the, basically leave it essentially a retaining wall and
Just-
until such time as they they figure out what they're doing.
Yeah. Just make it safe.
I'm not sure that makes it any safer, but.
Well, it's less dangerous, which is in some ways safer. Jeremy?
The last sentence there says, if the existing concrete slab remains in good condition after demolition, I plan to retain. So, I mean, this seems like if you take down the garage and you have the retaining wall, they don't necessarily have to keep the slab there. It could be, and maybe address planning's issue.
Can you address that?
Could you restate that question?
At the last part of their paragraph where they talk about upon removal of garage, they would install the retaining walls, but then the last sentence is, if the existing concrete slab remains in good condition after demolition, I plan to retain it. So if we just say, well, we're not gonna retain the slab, does that address any of your issues about the alley access or anything like that?
If they don't retain the slab, then we wouldn't have any issue with the structure being removed or any parking issue either. And then if you want to add off-street parking somewhere else later on, we can have that conversation as well. But-
Yeah.
All right, so I think.
I have a question about that. Would that, if it's to remove the slab, would that be, would I have to get a jackhammer and physically remove the slab, or would it be sufficient to fill it in and cover it with soil and then topsoil to extend the yard over it.
What I would imagine is removing the entire slab, probably including the jackhammer and all, but I don't know that that's strictly necessary to follow our zoning code.
Impervious surface?
It's not over impervious surface coverage as it is.
But then you lose the record of it as impervious surface.
Right, similar to the pool, we would want to make a note of that, but better than making a note would be restoring it to soil.
Yeah, okay. So, back to the petitioner for a minute. Would you describe how much of the garage you plan on taking down if it gets approved?
My plan was to remove the entire garage. The back wall is been deteriorating over the last few years, but all of the rainstorms that we had this year, the way it's situated on the hill, that water just runs right down in there, and the mortar is compromised. So my plan was to remove the entirety of the garage, all of the cinder blocks and the concrete with the rebar slab on top and the door and everything.
Okay, so then you're left with all of these unsupported earth walls that could cave in. And how would you address that until you got approval from this body and planning to proceed with other measures?
I guess that's where we have our hang up, is I would need you all to approve the retaining wall that we are suggesting then. So, and it sounds like I'll have to make a separate petition for that.
It's in there.
It's in there, but I think the hang up that planning has is that then becomes a parking space. And I don't think that it's access from the street.
Sure, and I'm not, it being a parking spot is not gonna be the deal breaker here. I was just trying to think of ways to reuse, like the slab that was already there. So I'm not, super committed to making it parking if we don't want that, or if we think it is ultimately better to just fill in the land and extend the retaining wall to the end of the property.
So I'm still a little unclear about where the retaining wall might go. I think we gotta pause it because we've lost quorum.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We lost quorum.
Well, we lost Renard.
Recording stopped.
Somebody stepped out.
Yeah, Renard stepped out.
Renard stepped out. Oh, we made it 30 minutes. That's not too bad.
He's on the phone. He doesn't leave yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's coming back. Somebody was.
Recording in progress.
All right, apologies for that. So I'm still unclear as to, so you're still planning on asking for approval for a sort of U-shaped retaining wall that takes the place of the garage walls at this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
I think this body has no issues with that. And I'm happy to approve that, and then you will have to have a discussion with planning about how to proceed and where you're gonna have your parking, and if you need to come back and add additional retaining wall to, cap off the sidewalk, we're happy to hear that as well. Any further questions or comments from commissioners?
No.
So, I'm sorry, Sam, can you clarify, what exactly are you accepting a motion on? Because I'm looking at the application where it says I'm requesting a certificate of appropriateness to proceed with demolition.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes on to explain about what she intends to do with the retaining wall,
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't take as part of the application, so I guess I'm asking you, what motion are you accepting?
We are taking that as part of the application.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a conflict with planning. And I am trusting that the petitioner will be back to talk about what the final form of this is going to be. But I think Duncan's point that if you take the garage out, it becomes a dangerous situation and you're going to have to retain that earth at the alley. And this application as presented addresses that.
Well, it addresses a two-sided wall, but not a three-sided wall.
Well, that was what I heard the petitioner say, was there's a three-sided wall. It's basically reiterating the two side walls and the back wall of the garage.
Okay, well, the written application says install retaining walls along the south and east boundaries of the structure's current.
Okay,
Yes, that is what I originally put in my application, but per your recommendation, it has become clear that it does need to be a three-sided one.
so we can amend it to be a three-sided retaining wall
Yeah.
and move along. All right,
So we would need a motion to demolish the garage and then the construction of a three-sided retaining wall.
that is correct, in the style of the existing limestone retaining wall.
Okay, so
I will so move that.
I make that motion.
Okay, you make that motion, and I will second it.
So, sort of a discussion. It seems from this larger discussion of planning that she's creating these limestone retaining walls at considerable cost to herself in a space that can't be used
For parking.
for parking. So unless the petitioner has some other intended use, that's gonna be an expensive retaining wall compared to dumping some dirt in there and putting in grass.
I hear that.
Okay, I'm just trying to
I
clarify.
hope to see the petitioner come back with a proposal for a different configuration of retaining walls.
Okay.
And having spoken with planning in the interim, so.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I will commit to coming back with that.
And
But there is a motion and a second on the table, which is demolishing the garage and having a three-sided retaining wall
built,
built.
and leaving the three sides of the old garage would be insufficient to shore up to act as retaining walls.
That is the idea. I mean, that's what retaining walls do, is they retain.
No, what I'm saying is, once you take the top off,
Yep.
there are already verticals there.
Yeah,
on
but
all
she
three
said she's
sides.
gonna take the whole thing out. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
It's deteriorated,
Yeah, it's sad.
so it won't hold the walls. It's not holding it now, apparently.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Do we have discussion? Comments?
I don't have any other comments.
Comments?
I'm just thinking, putting some lumber in it and putting some cross pieces could shore it up more than building a new retaining wall, but that's up to the homeowner, but that's my only comment.
Yeah, I think this will be an iterative process.
Okay.
Melanie? Karen? Daniel?
If the petitioner's okay with it,
Yeah, there you go. Duncan? Yeah, it's not perfect. Eddie, would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Renard Cross,
Yes.
Jeremy Hacker,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Good luck with the demo, and we will happily talk to you again when you come back.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you all.
Have a good night, Chris.
Thank you, Noah.
Next item, 702 COA 2558, 702 West Kirkwood. Petitioner is Simon Ladd, is the petitioner or representative present?
Is the petitioner present?
Online.
Are they online?
I don't see anything.
Noah, for the record, is this 2559?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay.
This is 702 West Kirkwood near West Side.
Yes.
No petitioner. All right, just as a, are they on the clock still? Or are they past the clock?
They passed the call.
Penalty because they.
Okay.
But isn't this considered action if?
I think they are under notice of violation and they are
Yeah.
under fines at this point.
Okay.
All right,
Move
so,
it to the end.
so we can, kick that to the end in case they show up. Or the courtesy.
Moving on then, COA 2560, for 704 West Wiley in the McDowell Historic District. The petitioner is Joe Workman. Is the petitioner present?
Is the petitioner online? Nobody wants to come.
See no indication.
All right, thank
Is
you.
anybody here for this item?
All right, we will kick that one to the end as well.
Right on then, COA 2561. This is for 1005 South Madison in the McDowell Historic District. Petitioner is Barry Clapper.
She's here.
Anybody here for this item? Okay.
Yes.
Great. I'll continue. 2005 South Madison is a slightly older, minimal ranch with a walkout basement to the rear and a colonial-inspired front porch that is a later addition. The east of the house and down a slope stands a non-contributing cinder block garage. This request, the property owner, Bill Henderson, proposes to demolish an existing 576 square foot 2-car garage, construct a new 2-car garage with an accessory dwelling unit above of approximately the same footprint. Property is categorized as contributing in the McDowell Gardens Historic District, but the garage is non-contributing. The new garage / ADU would have a similar orientation as the existing driveway, with the driveway access from the south alley, but would be located in the northeast corner of the property to maximize yard space. The roof pitch of the garage would match that of the house through the grade change from the east to west to the 2-story height of the new garage / ADU would be about the height of the house. The existing large area of excess pavement will also be removed. There will be a second future phase to the project, which will involve the renovation of the existing house, which will require another COA. The schematic site plan of the overall project is included for reference. So materials listed include vinyl, orange vinyl or cement fiber, board siding and synthetic wood trim, hardy board siding, aluminum clad windows, fiberglass half-light doors, eaves, aluminum sulfate and cast iron trim, wrapped with pre-finished aluminum. Foundation would be smooth CMU to match the foundation of the house. Porch columns, 6x6 wood columns with 3/4 inch wrap. Porch rail would be a combination of wood posts with 3/4 inch wrap and a metal rail painted. Porch floor would be synthetic wood decking. Garage door, steel or fiberglass flush garage door like Clopay. Gutters and downspouts would be pre-finished aluminum. The roof would be covered in asphalt, architectural asphalt shingle. Does the petitioner have anything that she would like to add?
Tad, Barry Clapper from Spring Point Architects, and I'm here with the owner, Bill Henderson, to answer any questions you have. Thank you, Noah. We just really wanted to do a very modest ADU. It's a very modest house, ranch house, and so we're just kind of recreating that kind of very simple form, and really hoping to improve the property. There's a lot of impervious surface on the lot now, and that will all come away except for the new garage driveway to provide access to the garage. But happy to answer any questions. Just one clarification is that the intention is that there will not be any vinyl on the addition. It will be all fiber cement board siding and synthetic wood products.
Thank you.
Sure.
Have we heard anything from the neighborhood?
Yes,
No?
we actually went to a meeting. I'm sorry.
Oh, this was another question.
Okay, sorry.
No.
Noah, did you hear anything directly from the neighborhood?
Oh, just that they had met with you, didn't have any objections.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to let him do his recommendations. this time.
recommendation.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, staff recommendation.
There it is.
He's used to be cutting him off.
Yeah.
Okay. recommends approval of COA 2561. The proposed new construction would match the footprint of the existing garage and set below the grade of the primary structure would have a lower roof line and be minimally visible from the street. The roof line would match the pitch of the house, although the footprint of the garage would be greater than 25% of the house's footprint. This would be basically unavoidable considering the house's small size. Other garages and ADUs in this district have been approved with this caveat.
All right, thank you. Questions?
Not for me.
Bernard, Melody, Karen, Daniel, Duncan.
Did you consider, or would it be possible to build this ADU on top of the existing garage?
The owner really wants to maximize the backyard, and because the existing garage is sort of in the center of the property, it really just wasn't desirable.
Thank you. Any questions? I will entertain a motion.
We approve COA, I just lost it, which one is it?
2561.
2561.
2561.
I'll second.
All right, discussion, comments?
I appreciate all the drawings and stuff that were done for this. It really helps us when we're looking at things to have a full schematic of everything going on. So thank you for doing that.
All right, comments?
I like it. Let's build it.
Melody? Karen?
I like it too, the simplicity works very well.
Daniel? What Karen said? Duncan? No, I mean, although you're tearing down the existing garage, I actually appreciate that because you're reducing the impervious surface and you're also creating a more green space between, which I think helps separate the ADU from the owner, and they have a sort of shared green space. So I appreciate that on a lot of levels. Looks like a nice project. I think we have anything else. Would you call the roll?
There's no public comment.
Oh, public comment, my bad. Anybody? Anybody in line? Thanks for keeping me in line. Would you call the roll?
Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Reynard Cross,
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody Dusner. Motion carries 5-0.
Since we're tearing down a garage, do we have to?
It's not a demolition delay.
No, it's
These
not
are all, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you all very much.
thanks for coming in.
Well, you guys like new garages, and it sounds like you do.
He's adding segues now.
As we learned from our representative.
Smooth it.
Editorializing what's going on.
It's all street parking has to be up or out. In this case it is. Next application is COA 2562 for 927 North Fairview in the Maple Heights Historic District. Petitioner is Janelle Curry.
She is online.
Is the petitioner or somebody?
I'm online.
Great. So 927 North Fairview is a T-plan cottage rated as contributing on the 2014 state survey. Subsequently, a gable-fronted northern wing has been added, in addition to some other exterior modifications. This lot faces Fairview to the east and an alley to the south. There's currently a semicircular gravel drive on the alley and no permanent outbuildings. There's a small detached shed. His request is for the construction of a 1.5-story garage with an asphalt shingle roof and horizontal siding. I will say that I did hear back from the neighborhood on this because they were included in the whole thing. And all of them sounded fairly positive about this design. And for clarification, this is not an ADU. The second story will be storage and a workspace. Does the petitioner have anything that you would like to add?
Does the petitioner have anything you'd like to add?
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I've talked to our neighborhood committee about this, and we also took the height down a little bit to comply. I would want it to be as similar as possible to our existing structure because it is contributing. And yeah, happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you. Did Noah make his recommendation? I didn't hear that. Did you have a recommendation, Noah?
Well, anyway, the recommendation is approval. The proposed garage would be 20 feet and a little over 5 inches in height, making it closer in height to the primary structure, which appears to be between 19 and 20 feet high. Footprint is also smaller than the primary structure and would be placed in a subordinate position on the rear of the property, access from an alley. The roof outline and fenestration pattern of the garage related to the primary structure of the lot. While this application does not specify siding materials, the district guidelines state that a range of materials are acceptable as long as they reflect the directional and dimensional characteristics found historically.
All right, do we have questions from the commissioners? Jeremy?
What kind of materials are gonna be used for siding?
Whatever's on the house. I have the same builder who did the reno for the house, Jens Cassander. I'm not an expert on that. I think it's like some kind of wood look stuff.
But you're matching the existing house.
You're matching, okay.
Matching the existing house, whatever we can.
Thank you. Renard, questions? Melanie? Karen? Daniel? Nothing? Anybody in the public? Questions? Sir?
Yeah, I'm from the neighborhood historic committee.
What would you
This
think,
is not a
sir?
question came up in our discussions.
Would you say your name for the computer?
Yeah, Thomas Coke.
Thank you.
However, thinking about it myself, I wonder what the fenestration would be, and I imagine they both can match that to the front house.
Would you go to the elevations, Noah, in the presentation?
These elevations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that address your question-ish?
Ish.
Anybody else in the public? We'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve COA 2562.
I'll second.
All right, discussion. Jeremy?
Nothing.
Bernard? Ellie? Yeah. Karen? Daniel? Duncan? I think it's very reasonable. Only thing I was a little concerned about was both the north and south elevations have little fenestration on them, and then I looked at the back of the house, and the back of the house has two very blank gable walls, so it matches in that way, which is a little shocking. Good job of matching all around. Would you call the roll?
Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSalter,
Yes.
Reynard Cross,
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. There's someone in the chat. I don't know if that's
Just says thanks.
Oh, everybody's okay.
Yeah, thanks.
okay.
At this point, I want to check and see whether there's anybody present for another certificate of appropriateness application before we move on to demolition delay.
So if anybody came in late here or online, raise your hand.
We had someone that come in just moments ago.
Is anyone here for a certificate of appropriateness that came in late? Because we had to move some to the end of the agenda because the petitioners were not present. Thank you. Doesn't appear so.
In that case, I'm going demolition delays. First item here, demolition delay 2519 for 1109 North College Avenue. Petitioner is Michael Snapp. This is a 1927 brick bungalow. This brown brick bungalow sports an open porch with gable front centered over the front door, wood frieze, half wood, half brick columns, brick half walls, topped with concrete.
Is the petitioner here for
Concrete
this one?
floor. The petitioner probably.
Ah, thank you.
I don't think they need to be here for the
Okay.
demolition delays, right?
Well, let's check it out. Okay.
It's not considered a petition.
Anyway, concrete floor and steps, porch. Built by Fred Bunger in 1927 as his residence. Bunger co-owned Bunger Brothers Overland Agency, a car dealership that sold Willis Knight automobiles. Produced between 1914 and 1933 by the Willis Overland Company of Toledo, Ohio. After Bunger moved out, the house was occupied by two more auto salesmen, G.W. McAllister from 1936 to 1938, and Wallace Reeves, manager of Puri Buick from 1939 through the early 40s. From 1945 to 1958, the house was the residence of Joseph and Grace Show. Joseph was a telegrapher for the Monon Railway, and Grace was a dress saleswoman. Joseph died in 1954, and Grace moved to Florida in 1960. The building operated as a dentist's office for many years following its sale by Grace Show. This property has twice been the subject of demolition delays, once in 2019 and again in 2022. These are DD 1923 and DD 2216. It was released on both occasions. The request is for full demolition.
Do you have a recommendation?
The recommendations for the release of demolition delay 25 minutes.
Thank you. Does the petitioner have anything to add?
No, I'm sorry we keep coming back. We just have not been able to get a project together, so it keeps expiring.
I understand. I'm in the same boat. Oh, sorry. Questions?
No questions for me.
No. Questions? Melody, Karen, Daniel, Duncan? Questions or comments from the public? I have no questions. We'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to release DD 2519.
Second. You got it? Thank you. All right, any discussion, comments?
No.
Bernard, Melody, Karen, Duncan? No comments here. Call the roll?
See nothing from online either.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel Schlegel?
Yes. What? Yeah, we will make the motion and then we'll do the thing.
Sam DeSaller?
Yes.
Reynard Cross?
Yes.
Jeremy Hacker?
Yes.
Melody Dusner?
Yes.
Motion to release carries 5-0.
Okay, today regarding the property located at 1109 North College Avenue, the Historic Preservation Commission declares that it received notice of proposed demolition and after today's discussion sees no need to review the plans any further and waives the rest of the demolition delay waiting period. The HPC may later recommend the property for historic designation to the Common Council.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in, sir.
All right, moving on. Demolition delay 2520 for 1003 South Washington Street. For the outbuilding of 1003 South Washington Street. Petitioner is Terry Ramusak, online. This is a garage built in the 30s or 40s. 1003 South Washington Street appears to have been built around 1930. It is an altered bungalow with a rough limestone foundation and gable front porch. In the backyard facing South Alley is a 160 square foot, vertically sided wood garage with a shed side roof. The garage is likely close in age to the house. This property was first owned between 1930 and 1955 by Herbert Mundell, circuit court judge for Owen and Monroe counties, and his wife Nellie. The house was occupied until 1932 by the Goddard family who attended IU. Herbert went into private practice in 1932 and moved into the house. Nellie resided there for 13 years after his death, and the house frequently changed renters until 1965, when it was bought by Elmer Waddle, an inspector for RCA, who owned the house until 1987. To reiterate, the application here is for a full demolition of the pictured garage and outbuilding. And staff recommends the release of demolition delay 2520.
If the petitioner is here and has anything to add, let's
No,
know.
nothing to add. I'm just gonna turn it into yard there. It's gonna be yard.
Thank you, sir. Questions? Jeremy?
No.
Bernard?
No questions.
Melanie? No. Karen? Daniel? Duncan? My only question is on the chart, is the garage listed as contributing as well, or just
Yes,
not?
it is.
It is? Thank you. Any questions or comments from the public on this one? Online, anyone?
I did receive a few public calls, but when I told them it was about the garage, it seemed less interesting.
Gotcha, thank you. I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to release DD 2520.
Second.
All right, comments? Jeremy?
None.
Bernard? Melanie? Karen? Daniel? Duncan? Okay. I have no comments. Would you call the roll, please?
Okay. Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Reynard Cross,
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion to release carries 5-0.
Today, regarding the property located at 1003 South Washington Street, the Historic Preservation Commission declares that it got notice of proposed demolition and after today's discussion sees no need to review the plans any further and waives the rest of the demolition delay waiting period. HPC may later recommend the property for historic designation to the Common Council.
Thanks for coming in, sir.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Next demolition delay, item on the agenda, COA 2521, for 407 North Roosevelt Street. Petitioner Ernest G. This is for a full demolition. 407 North Roosevelt is a small 1.5-story house built in the early 1950s. Its first occupants were Master Sergeant Alva Flame, World War II and Korean War veteran, working as an instructor at IU, and his wife Pauline. Few residents stayed at this location for longer than a year or two. Some of the more notable residents included Philip and Doris Smith, owners of Smith's Shoe Store, the future Indiana State University Dean of Students, Richard Milo. The most famous residents to rent this property during the year of 1973 to 1974 were Anthony and Mary Mayowald. Anthony Mayowald is a stem cell researcher and professor emeritus at the University of Chicago. Mary Mayowald is a professor emeritus of bioethics at the University of Chicago, who writes extensively on the topics related to women's health. In the 1970s, the couple taught at Indiana University. Staff recommends release of demolition delay 25.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here by chance?
I'm representing the petitioner.
Thank you, sir. What's your name?
Todd Saxton.
Thank you. Questions?
No questions.
Questions or no?
No questions.
Melody? Karen? Daniel? I have no questions. Any comments or questions from the public on this? I will entertain a motion on this one.
I'll move to release DD 2521.
Second.
You guys are tag teaming all night tonight.
Yeah.
Might switch it up.
Yeah.
Go.
Comments?
People are only living here like 1 year at a time. Historical significance is hard to prove on that, and the rating for architecture isn't high enough.
Yeah. And just to beat the dead horse, this is the choice we have to either designate it, make it its own historic district, which on its own it really doesn't have the merit to do, or we let it go. Those are the choices in front of us. Bernard.
No.
Melody. Karen. Daniel. All right. I ask you to call the roll.
And I see nothing online.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Reynard Cross.
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion to release carries 5-0.
Today, regarding the property located at 407 North Roosevelt, the Historic Preservation Commission declares that it got notice of proposed demolition, and after today's discussion, sees no need to review the plans any further and waives the rest of the demolition delay waiting period. The HPC may later recommend the property for historic designation to the Common Council.
Thank you. All right.
I think I'd have that memorized.
All right. Next item, demolition delay 2522, address is 609 North Dunn Street. The petitioner came to me with Ernest G. This request is for full demolition. 609 North Dunn is a one-story T-plant house with a shop up front porch built in 1929. Most of its original exterior elements have been replaced. Prior to 1955, ownership changed approximately every 30 years. Some of the residents included Samuel and Mary Tanakis, 1934 to 1938, who were owners of City Hat Shoe Shop, and Russell Necht, the city director of recreation in the early 1940s. The longest term residents were Otis and Lola Myers, who lived in the house from 1955 through 1972. Otis worked as a barber and retired after 62 years as Bloomington's oldest barber. The couple were active in a local senior citizens group and did not believe that 16-year-olds should be issued staff recommendations for the release of demolition delay 25.
That's amazing.
Oh, boy.
Get the details.
How do you feel about driver's licenses? Questions? Public? Where are we? Public. Questions, comments from the public on this one? No. I'm hearing nothing, anything from anybody online.
Not seeing anything.
All right,
No questions.
no questions? Bernard? Melody? Karen? A rough night.
This is the 2522.
This is 2522 at 609
Okay.
North Dunn.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, Jack's not here tonight. I think he said it best the other day. Is perfectly good house being torn down. He just doesn't understand why. And I was just trying to look through the neighborhood. I didn't know how to bring up where the historic districts are to be able to see where some of that falls.
You can ask Noah are you able to bring that up on the map on this property relative to where the districts are?
Where the existing districts are?
Yes, sir. Was that your question?
Yeah, I was just curious. Part of me just wants to know for future reference as well. But some of the ones, I'm just curious. Like, are they just outside of district, or are they pretty well isolated?
This one isn't close.
Okay. That's right. No, you don't have to worry about it for this one.
Okay.
So that was all.
Well, just a second, I'll show you. So I'll show you 609 North Dunn.
Watch it prove me wrong, but I thought it wasn't.
There's a bunch of contributing stuff in there, but it's a desert.
Yeah.
As far as districts.
And I think that big blue stuff are the brick streets that are over there.
Yeah.
Like north
And the
of
university
Union.
courts or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Down here in University Courts.
yeah. So it's not too far, but
And then the other big one, I think, is the McCullough building.
yeah.
Up at in the red at the top.
I have one question for the petitioner. Have you talked to BRI to see if they have any interest in this building and moving it or like getting original parts from it?
I haven't, but we will. I know Urs will reach out to them. We always let them come in and
See what they can do.
see what they can do.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you.
We've kind of made that our
Hello.
priority.
Yeah. Thank you. I think we are at that point.
I'll move to release DD 2522.
I'll second it.
All right, any comments on this one?
No.
Comments,
No.
Bernard, comments? Karen, Daniel? Yeah, nothing further. Did you, I think we've asked for comments on this one from the public already, so would you call the roll?
Okay. Daniel Schlegel,
Yes.
Sam DeSaller,
Yes.
Renard Cross,
Yes.
Jeremy Hacker,
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion to release carries 5-0.
Today, regarding the property located at 609 North Dunn, the Historic Preservation Commission declares that it got notice of proposed demolition and after today's discussion sees no need to review the plans any further and waives the rest of the demolition delay waiting period. The HPC may later recommend the property for historic designation to the Common Council.
Thank you. All right.
Sorry, next item is COA, sorry, it's not COA, demolition delay 2523 for 312 South Arbutus. Petitioner is Jeffrey Shiner. Request your
And
demolition.
he is online.
Thank you, Ed.
312 South Arbutus is a mostly unaltered California bungalow. Built in the 1920s, it was originally located at 1514 East 10th Street. The first owners of the property were Auguste and Marie Louise Martin, who immigrated from France to Kokomo in 1900 and to Bloomington in 1913 for work at the Nuri Glass Company. In 1951, the house was bought by campus power plant chief engineer Russell Abram and IU payroll clerk Carrie Louise Abram. This house was one of a number of houses that was slated for demolition at Midway First new development on campus. The couple petitioned city council for permission to relocate the house to its current location. The couple inhabited the house until 1975. Russell was a master mason and World War II veteran who started at the campus power plant as a janitor after the war. Staff recommends the release of demolition delay 2523.
Does the petitioner have anything to add? Is the petitioner online?
Yes, sorry,
No.
trying to unmute there. No, nothing further. The only thing I spoke with Steve from today, I said Bloomington renovation or
BRI?
wanting to try to, wanting to try to, we talked about giving him an opportunity to go inside and salvage some woodwork and some doors and some windows. And so he appreciated that. And so we're just gonna find a time for that to happen.
Thank you, sir. Questions?
Not for me.
Bernard, Melody, Karen, Daniel?
Just that it can't get moved again somewhere else. It's already been saved, and now for it to get demolished, it's just raised. It just, there's not another spot for it to be moved. It's a great house.
It's a lovely little house. Advocates for it. I don't have questions. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Sir, would you state your name?
My name is John Butler, and I would like to oppose the demolition of this house. If it would be possible to move it, I think it is, would be a shame to have saved the home once, only to lose it again, or I guess for the first time. So I oppose the demolition.
Thank you. Would you state your name?
Amy Butler, and I also want to oppose the demolition of this house. If you go to save it once, I don't see why you should be allowed to demolish it. It obviously has value to be saved if they saved it the first time. So I oppose it.
Anyone else? Anyone online?
Yeah, somebody's raised their hand.
Sounds like
Penny, could you ask Janet Sorby to unmute?
Somebody wrote that they oppose it.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you
Hello?
now.
Okay, great. I actually looked at the pictures of this house online, and the interior is really, really nice. And it would be wonderful if Bloomington Restoration could use this house and maybe save it. It seems like a really nice house and a real shame after, some people have gone to the trouble of saving it once. It seems like it merits another chance. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for taking my comments.
Thank you. And there was another comment where somebody wrote online, you said?
Yeah, somebody said they oppose demolition.
Yeah.
Yeah, Judith Barnes in the chat stated that she opposes the demolition.
Thank you. I have some questions for me. This is not in a district, right, Noah?
No, it's right outside Elm Heights.
Right outside where?
Elm Heights.
Thank you.
It's a little bit north and east of there.
I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to release DD 2523.
I have a second?
I'll second it just to hear the discussion, see what's going on.
Yeah, okay. Comments? We'll start with you, Daniel.
I was gonna try to look up how far outside Elm Heights is. It is.
So this is outside Elm Heights. Would you bring up the map, please, Noah? Because there's Elm Heights and then there's also the Elm Heights Historic District. So there's a neighborhood, and I don't know.
What I mean is it's outside of, see, here's southeast.
Yeah.
It's a way out.
And it looks like it's surrounded by contributing buildings.
Yeah. And that's another neighborhood that is rich with good stuff. Not a district. Comments, Daniel?
Not right now.
Okay. Karen?
Well, I just want to say, I note that the house was built in the 1920s and it's unaltered.
Yeah.
And that is what gets.
Well, it was moved in 1900, right? So it was built before that.
It was built in the 1920s.
Oh, the 20s, okay, so that was,
Yeah.
okay.
Moved in 1951, that was that.
19, okay, that's when they immigrated from France.
No,
And,
yeah, the original owners immigrated from France.
Yeah, the Kokomo, heaven forfend. All right. Karen, so no comments?
No further comment, I mean, what.
It's a beautiful, yeah,
It's a beautiful
great
house
house.
and it's just a dirty shame.
Yeah, Melody?
That was what I was gonna say about the unaltered, like, is unaltered, I guess it's more of a question, California bungalow and F2 say architectural significance.
I mean, it's a nice little house. I mean, again, this reminds me of other houses we're going to be looking at tonight, and that it's a great little house. It's not in a district. What does it have going for it? Is it enough to be a district on its own? Because if it's not in a district, the only choice we have is to make it its own thing or to let it go. And in some ways, this is a catalyst for the neighborhood to come in and organize and become a district. And it's kind of a unfortunate way to start that up, but it's you know, we have so many tools. Bernard?
Well, not so much a comment, but there are two persons here from the neighborhood?
No.
Or are you just
I'm just
interested parties?
I'm just sympathetic for historic structures in Bloomington in general, and we have another demolition delay coming up that we are very invested in this topic.
And just, you do know that there are criteria that any recommendation for protection needs to meet?
Yes. To me,
Are you aware of anything that fits within these criteria that you could present to us now?
I
Other
would
than
argue
just
that
being a nice house?
I would argue that the architectural simplicity of the California bungalow in and of itself, to have made it this far through time, relatively unaltered, is worthy of saving. And it's not, I would add that this is the hardest type of house to save because it's so modest.
They're modest houses.
It's very easy to save a nice house, a mansion, a house of means, because they're exceptional. But a modest house has a very hard time, a working man's house has a very hard time being exceptional. And so your own criteria for architectural exceptionalism makes it very hard to save these houses unless we consider the purity of its form and its age.
Yeah.
There is time left on consideration, right?
There is? I'll ask Noah. Noah, how much is left on the clock in this one?
Well, the start date was August 28th, so 30 days from then.
We'd have another meeting. The two ladies that were on that one that spoke and I think the other wrote in, are they from the neighborhood or nearby? Do we know?
Are they still online?
I believe they're here for another.
They're here for Cottage Grove.
I was gonna ask, because if they were from the neighborhood, that would
Yeah, I mean,
be a lot.
you commented that this is a neighborhood that's rich.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I hear that. So, do you have we're at what, questions now or comments?
Comments.
We're at comments,
It was a-
and we have a motion to release in a second.
I'm saying we could possibly push it to the next meeting and give interested parties some time to see what they can do if there's interest.
And also if pushing it to the next meeting means that Noah could research the architectural sort of, could we make an architectural case for it? What would that look like?
He's done some research on it. Let's ask Noah, do you feel that the research you've done was in-depth enough to merit or not merit a designation at this point?
I mean, not in terms of historic significance.
But in terms of
right, in terms of architectural significance. I mean, the criteria for listing locally are different from, National Register criteria that I'm a little more familiar with.
And more stringent, I would argue.
I'm skeptical, honestly, that on its own, this building could be designated for architectural significance.
Thank you. Sorry? That is a good question. The petitioner is here, question mark?
I can read off if it helps the 7 architectural criteria that
Yes, the petitioner is
are
online.
considered locally.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, happy to.
If that's something that you'd like to hear.
I'm happy to hear from the petitioner at this point. Do you have anything you want to chime in on this at all?
He has 7 criteria he agreed to.
As I mentioned before, spoke with Steve, and there's a few things, someone mentioned pictures online. The pictures online are from years ago. Does not what the inside really looks like. There's rot in some areas and different aspects of the house. And so offered up to Steve if he wanted to come and salvage any woodwork that he wanted in doors and windows. He's more than welcome to be able to reuse. He asked about the floors. I said there's not that much of a floor remaining to be able to utilize. So.
And our purview is only the exterior of the house as well, so there is that.
Sir.
Who am I hearing from?
Maybe somebody cleared their throat.
Okay. I think we are back to you, Jeremy. Comments?
Yeah, I think for me, based on the history, we don't have enough there to designate it in that regard. And then we have our architectural ratings that we use for all of these things, and this is contributing by itself. And so for me, it's really hard to make a good argument for it on its own.
Yeah, I would concur. I think we, as I mentioned previously, we have a motion and a second on the table. We've heard from the public, we've heard from the petitioner, we've heard from the commissioners. It's time to call the roll.
Okay. Daniel Schlegel.
Yes is to release.
Right, and no is to.
No is to talk some more.
Then I'll do no to see.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Karen,
I don't know.
you are
I'm an
abstaining?
advisor.
Oh, I'm by now.
Eddie's calling the
All right.
Eddie's
Oh, and that's Eddie's job anyway. I'm in everybody's business. I
There you go,
apologize.
Sam, I'm going home.
I apologize.
Okay. Sam DeSaller.
Yes.
Renard Cross.
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard.
Yes.
Melody Dusner.
No.
Motion to release carries 3-2.
Did you ask Daniel too?
Yeah, he voted first.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Today, regarding the property located at 312 South Arbutus, the Historic Preservation Commission declares that it got notice of proposed demolition, and after today's discussion sees no need to review the plans any further and waives the rest of the demolition delay waiting period. The HPC may later recommend the property for historic designation to the Common Council.
Thank you. All right. It is 6:30. I wanted to check in with everybody and see if anybody needs like a 5-minute break. 5 minutes? All right.
5-minute recess.
So we will break
Recording
5
stopped.
minutes.
All right, maybe before we get into this one, Noah, has anybody shown up on the cases that we missed?
Let's see. I'm not seeing anybody new online.
All right, so I'm going to say that we are going to table those until the next meeting, since we do not have a petitioner present for any of those cases.
They're continued.
Continued. My bad. I always mess that up. I always mess that up. They're continued. Okay, so Noah, please, COA 2518.
Next item, demolition delay 2518, address is 115 East 12th Street. Petitioner is Sable Buyers. This is a circa 1925 California bomb. Retains most of its original features, but has been re-sided in white asbestos board. The house was first owned between 1927 and 1945 by Ivan Adams and his wife Gladys. Ivan ranked among the most prominent local stone carvers, whose work includes the Bloomington Courthouse World War II Memorial, the High Seal at Foster Quad Dorm, contributions to the columns and frieze at the Fine Arts Palace for Chicago's Century of Progress exhibition in 1933, the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C., the 21-foot statue of Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital in Indian Hill, in Camden, New Jersey, various other statues of the Virgin Mary and saints for Catholic institutions around the country. A monumental statue of his marks the grave of Gladys and himself at Rose Hill Cemetery. Adams' Herald Times obituary in 1968 described him as one of Monroe County's most famous stone carvers. And in 1977, local carver Ronald Wampler described him as one of the greatest stone carvers in the area that I've done. A collection of some of his work is displayed below in Packet. I'll see if it's displayed below. After Adams moved out, the house was rented for the next 30 years to a number of tenants, most of whom did not stay longer than several years. One of the most prominent occupants was Robert Quirk, a professor of Mexican history and editor of the American Historical Review. He was a recipient of the Frederick Jackson Turner Award for debut books by historians, who lived at this location from 1955 to 1956. In 1977, the house was the first Bloomington residence of James and Susan Butler, founders of Butler Winery. From 1987 to 1991, the house was the residence of opera student Judith Barnes and visiting lecturer in Spanish, Anthony Kerrigan. Kerrigan won the National Book Award in 1975 for his translation of Miguel de Unamanos' The Agony of Christianity, and a senior fellowship in literature from the National Endowment for the Arts for his lifelong contribution to American letters in 1980. He was the first to translate the Spanish writings of Jorge Luis Borges into English, and taught both at IU and Notre Dame while living in 115 East 12th Street. Judith Barnes is an opera singer and visual artist, founder of the Vertical Layer Repository Opera Company in New York, a vocal instructor and a translator. The request is for full demolition. The last meeting I was requested to research whether this building may be eligible for listing. It appears by my judgment to be eligible for listing under criterion 1A of Bloomington Title 8. That is a historic criterion for having significant character, interest, or value as part of the development, heritage, or cultural characteristics of the city, state, or nation, or, and in this case, is associated with a person who has played a significant role in local, state, or national history, which I will explain. 115 East 12th Street has been the home of several people who have played a significant role in local, state, or national history. For a property to be eligible for listing under this criterion, several conditions must be met. Firstly, in those cases, the person associated with this property must have made their significant contributions at least 50 years ago. Secondly, the property must be associated with this period of this person's life or career. Anthony Kerrigan has been widely acknowledged for his contributions to Spanish literature. However, there are other properties associated with his career from more than 50 years ago, so it would be difficult to make the case for designating this house in which he lived from 1987 to 1991. Susan and James Butler established one of the early Southern Indiana wineries, as well as the Indiana Wine Grape Council. They left this house in 1982 when they established their own winery. Their contribution to local history is more closely associated with the Butler Winery property. The stone carver Ivan Adams lived at this property for a good part of his productive career, while he participated in the carving of public and religious monuments both locally and nationwide. He is locally recognized as one of the most prominent carvers in the Southern Indiana limestone industry, particularly as the number of sculpture carvers dwindled post-war. He moved in 1946 to 2921 South Rogers Street during the latter part of his career, where he built a house and workshop. The exterior of this building at 115 East 12th Street has been fairly unaltered from its original appearance, and an excellent example of small 1920s California bungalow. However, it does not have singular architectural significance or bear the marks of defense partnership. That is to say that I find it eligible for listing under one of the criteria laid up by Title 8 of the Bloomington Municipal Code, or its association with individuals who have played a significant role in.
Thank you. All right. Is the petitioner present here or online?
Sure.
Do you have anything to add to that?
Not right now.
Thank you. Well, I was gonna do questions in the public. We could do public now. We may as well do public now. Member to the public, would you state your name and?
Would you like to go first? I would like you to go first, because they just talking about your time at this house, and you need to talk.
I'm happy to, but.
Sure. Why don't
All
you
right.
talk first?
You wanna come up to the table? You're welcome.
How much time do I have? I'll keep it short.
Well, that's a scary question.
Hi, my name is Ann Steigerwald. I'm a former owner of the house, not the most historic owner, I'm afraid. And I have to say that's a singularly unattractive picture of the house. I have one that I can pass it around on Zillow that is a little more attractive. I bought the house in 1982 from the Butlers, and in fact, the money that I paid them partially funded the beginning of Butler Winery. They immediately started that. I bought it because it was charming. It had dark wood moldings, original. It had hardwood floors, which I had sanded. I think they need sanding again. And I call it the yellow house because I'm the one who painted it yellow, which you can hardly tell there. But mostly I bought it because I enjoyed walking around the neighborhood. Before I bought it, the neighborhood was charming. And it still is. Recently, I drove from Walnut Street to Indiana Avenue, and just like 40 years ago, all of the residences are bungalows, mostly one stories, except for one apartment on Grant Street and what used to be the 7-Eleven. The whole neighborhood is cohesive. It has spacious basements. The houses have windows on every side that allow light and cross ventilation. They have front porches, which makes a neighborhood feel safer because people on their front porches looking at what's happening. I fondly remember rocking my baby daughter in a porch swing on that front porch. The neighborhood, I loved walking to work. I worked at the Poplars. It epitomized small town America. And it was just a pleasure. Before I get off, I rented it to Anthony Kerrigan and Judith Barnes, and later they bought it. And I just so happened to have saved a magazine called Arts Indiana, and I'm gonna pass this around, and I have some copies, published by the the Art Commission of Indiana in Indianapolis in 1989. Anthony Kerrigan's picture was on the cover. I'll pass this around too so you can see what he looked. He was a real character and fascinating. That's why I kept it. Let me say one of these. And it included a 3-page article about Mr. Kerrigan with the subtitle, Translator of Genius. And it says, he is a poet, he was still alive then, writer and editor, but this senior guest scholar at the University of Notre Dame is probably best known for his translations of Borges, Unamuno, Neruda, and other works of Spanish literature. And the blurb says, his rendering of Borges' Ficciones into English 25 years ago introduced American writers and readers to a work that altered perceptions of contemporary fiction. And I want the original back, but you guys are welcome to keep some of these for the record. So I made copies. What's really significant is the neighborhood. There are so many of these charming bungalows. And now out-of-town developers want to really bust up this cohesive, charming neighborhood and replace it with, probably soulless apartments. If IU succeeds in promoting the Indianapolis campus and downgrading the Bloomington one, and the student population starts falling, demand for these apartments may fall, but once these 100-year-old homes are torn down, they are gone forever. And the character of the neighborhood is changed forever. And these houses, as you can see tonight, are fast eroding, thanks to developers who buy them and tear them down. We're trying to organize a conservation district, and this really meets the criteria. It says it's appropriate when there is significant development pressure or when the inventory of buildings to be protected is historic but not individually of high or unique architectural value. And I think this is a perfect description of this lovely neighborhood. So I thank you very much for your time and attention.
Thank you. Who's next?
Would you like to keep another one?
Sure. Would you Go ahead. I don't have a lot to say. James Ford. I'm so they can hear me. She did mention the Conservation District. We are actively, because of this committee's comments in our last meeting, we are actively engaged in developing a Conservation District, which mirrors tentatively the so-called Cottage Grove Historic District, which is online. It's not a real historic district, but it's one that if you Google Cottage Grove Historic District, it'll come up. It's a square bounded by Walnut, Grand, 10th, and 12th. There are 102 contributing structures in that square. There are 16 notable structures in that square. And there are just a few others, 18, that are non-contributing that we will not include in the Conservation District. This is one of them that is contributing. This has caused an awful lot of turmoil in the neighborhood, but maybe it's a good thing that it happened because we need to make a conservation district, and this is the impetus for that. So I will let them take over.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Butler. I have a PhD in history that I got from Indiana University. I think Noah actually really made a lot of the case that I was going to try to make tonight. So I don't really need to go back over that. I made a speech last month when we had to face this same thing. And hopefully you remember some of the points, but essentially Noah got a lot of it. There's two key ideas. Number one, that the house has historical architectural merit as part of a set, as part of this neighborhood. I think it's particularly important because it happens to be at the foot of Washington Street where Washington tees into 12th Street. So this house is actually contributing to 2 blocks worth of houses critically, because if you were to remove it, it would be missed from either street. It's a simple home. It's California Arts and Crafts bungalow, but I think really the amazing part of this structure is that it's less than, I think, 1,000 square feet, yet it's had an incredible list of people who've lived in it, and they are the people who've made this house worth saving. And I believe Ivan Adams is the key to this. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that he was probably one of the greatest stone carvers to ever lived in Bloomington and work in the Bloomington Stone District. He, tell one quick story about him. I worked for Wendell Field as a hod carrier. Wendell is a fairly famous artist. You probably know his work. He painted all of the old IU basketball pictures, at the photorealistic picture of each basketball player, and they'd be on the calendar, and they'd have, you know, they'd have posters and all sorts of stuff. He painted all of those paintings. And he did it for years until IU finally realized they could just take a photograph and it would be just as good because he was so talented. But anyway, Wendell was building this amazing limestone sculpture, and people would come and see it, and they would say, this is probably the most incredible limestone sculpture I've ever seen. And he would say, no, the most incredible limestone relief that has ever been made in Monroe County is on a building at 3rd and Atwater. And it's a tiny limestone, not tiny, it's like 3 by, I don't know, several feet big. Right there at the top center of those photographs. It's called The Kissing Couple. And that is done in about 1 inch of relief. And so the stone carver is just removing the very smallest amount of material to actually essentially make a portrait in limestone. And Wendell said, the problem with this is, unlike everything I do, where I put Field in the bottom corner so that we know who did it, we'll never know who did this sculpture. And it's the finest sculpture, and you know, it's lost to time because it's a corporate work. Recently, I've discovered that the person who did that sculpture was Ivan Adams. You know, big surprise. And so it's sort of a full circle moment for me that this great stone carver, who never got a lot of credit in his lifetime, only after he died was he really sort of celebrated. And then it's kind of become forgotten again. And maybe this house could be a vehicle to preserve his memory and the remarkable life that he led. And so for that, I think the house should be preserved. Also, because we're trying to form a conservation district and this house is part of it, we would also like you to extend the delay while we get this conservation district off the ground. We already have a lot of signatures. We're about to have our first meeting. We're really rolling along. And saving this house has become the cry of the neighborhood. So we appreciate your consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I apologize, I'm extremely nervous.
Good.
I have worked really hard this week trying to contact all the people in the neighborhood, and I'll tell you, the efforts that we have gone to try to get a hold of property owners is very difficult, because this square that we were talking about from 10th to 12th Street and from Walnut over to Grant, there's over 100 houses in it, and it's heavily renter. And because of that fact, you know, there's a lot of LLCs that own the properties in there. They're very large companies. It's hard to get a hold of anybody with those. I've sent multiple emails. My husband and I have gone, we wrote a letter that that talks about us wanting to form a conservation district for the area. We really want you to delay this to give us time to let this process play through. In the last week, we've written this letter. We have hand delivered to this is knocking on doors and talking to residents, which are mostly students, which actually we had surprising support from the students that live in these old houses. They are choosing to live in these old bungalows over living in these new things that are going up all over town. And if we lose these things, it's the fabric of our community. When you come into Bloomington, what do you see now are these giant apartment buildings. This is the last neighborhood that is a core neighborhood of these big old trees that are still standing because the neighbors have taken care of these. And there's a lot of property owners that are doing a great job taking care of them, but there's a few properties that are struggling. And, you know, unfortunately, 115 is one of those ones that didn't have a lot of money put into it. I'm sure that Judith was heavily pursued, as I was. Sorry, I didn't even tell you my name. Amy Butler, I actually own the house next door, just to the east of the yellow house. My friend, I took care of John McCormick, who had lived in that house previously with his mother from 1952 until his mom passed away in 92. I became very good friends with John because of, you know, his association with the Butler family that lived next door. I met him at a farmer's market in 2010. We became fast friends, and I took care of him for the last 8 years of his life. We were friends for 14 years, and when he passed, he left me this house. And it is my goal to make the house next door to this yellow house something that his mom would be proud of. It's not in the greatest shape, but I was heavily pursued for at least 2 years by this developer to buy John's house. Over and over. They sent letters, they sent postcards, I got a phone call on my personal cell phone, and I told them no, not interested at all. And then they still sent another letter saying we can work together. So the problem with this developer is they're offering large amounts of money for houses. It's above market value. People that are struggling, some of them are willing to sell out. Thankfully, I'm not, because they bought this house, next door. And if they had John's house, they would be going and asking for zoning to be changed so that they could put in a giant multiplex. This is what they're doing all up and down Woodburn in the 17th and Rogers area. Woodburn Avenue has been destroyed. They've taken down 5 houses. Actually, just this spring and summer, they've demolished them and they've put up these giant multiplex units. And the thing is, I was told at planning that they were only allowed to go up to 10 feet on either side of the property line. That doesn't seem to be the case. It looks to me like they're going all the way to the edges of these property lines, and they're putting these multiplexes in that have large numbers of bedrooms in these small neighborhoods that already have problems with parking. If this type of thing came to our neighborhood in Cottage Grove, it would completely change the way that this neighborhood looked, and it hasn't changed since the 20s, when this was originally platted after the Hunter Mansion property was sold off. So we would really like to make this a conservation district. We actually have already gathered 37 signatures on this. A lot of them are students, but I actually have, at least at this point, 5 owners that have signed it for this petition for the conservation district. We have a meeting on Saturday. I have contacted multiple property owners after handing out the letters. I have also sent emails to Chickering Rentals, Hoosier Red Housing, Roselo Properties, Horn Properties, Hoosier Rentals, Cream and Crimson Properties, Omega Properties. You guys see that this is an uphill battle, and we absolutely, being that this is a core neighborhood that has not been protected yet, we need your help on this to stop the demolition of this house before it ruins the edge of this neighborhood that, we are hopeful to save. All these old trees, you go around outside of that area, they're tearing down those trees when they're putting in these multiplex units. And we do not want to see what happened on Woodburn start to happen in our neighborhood. Because you start to put one of these big units in, and then the next guy's going to sell out, and then the next guy's going to sell out, because they don't want to live by that stuff. So we've got an ad in the paper about this, saying we know that it has to be a public meeting. I've talked to residents on Woodburn about this developer, and they are very distressed about what's going on. So I would really like to stop that from happening in this neighborhood, and I beg for you to please let us help us play through on our conservation district and try to get it to work city council. Sorry, I'm really emotional. I haven't slept for a week, and I've sent like 1,000 emails. So, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Anyone online? We have two in the chat, it looks like.
Yeah, hold on. Looks like Judith Barnes.
I think somebody's in the waiting room too.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I think Erin McKamey's in the waiting room.
Yes, I just admitted her.
Right. Wow, first of all, I just have to say that I'm incredibly moved by what Amy, by what you just said, by what John said.
This is
and-
Judith Barnes.
Yeah, this is Judith Barnes. Yeah. I sold the house to the developer in question who wants to demolish it unwittingly. I didn't realize that that was their intention. And I was honestly misled by my broker. I kept asking, what will this buyer want to do with the property? And he said, oh, probably just fix it up and rent it out to students, which is what I had been doing. If I could have afforded to keep it as a vacation house or something else, I would have done that. But because I loved, as people have expressed, and I'm very moved also to see Ann Steigerwald, from whom I bought the house. My husband and I bought it in 1980, whatever it was, 91. Or whenever. I'm terrible with dates. In any case, I can't really add a whole lot to the incredible passion and also very real concerns of my neighbors. I unfortunately don't live in Bloomington anymore, so my voice is just simply the voice of somebody to whom these things matter tremendously. And that neighborhood has a very special quality. And when I come back to Bloomington periodically and see how things have changed and how honestly soulless so much of this construction is, and how generic, and how much we're losing of the human touch and the personal touch and real history. I mean, it's just heartbreaking. So I just want to add my voice in support of this and this effort to create a historic district in the College Grove area, and also to oppose the demolition of this house that, as I already went on record and expressed, has meant so much to me. And I can keep trying to be involved and keep sending more information as I get it. There's been an incredible bunch of people who lived there, and I didn't realize that there was a 50-year sort of criteria for the cultural significance, but certainly the sculpture. And another thing is that I'm also I'm so thrilled to know that there was a sculptor, stone carver, who lived in the house before, because I too am a carver, besides being an opera singer and director. So anyway, I just wanted to add my voice to this.
Thank you.
And thank you, who's standing up for really what is right.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else online? Eddie?
Is there anyone else that wants to speak? I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody posted something in the chat. They said, "Is Aaron in?" Aaron McKamey is online. Are you wanting to speak?
Let's ask anyone who wants to speak to raise their hand.
Yeah, there's no one raising their hand.
Okay, thank you. Nothing.
Nope, nothing.
I think we are to the point where questions. Daniel, I'll start with you. Questions.
So what, there's a 30-day time limit? I know Noah put it in here somewhere, but I've read so much. 90 days to review. So how far out, when did this start?
7/29 was the start date.
So 90 days is October 27th,
Okay,
around October 27th.
okay, thank you. And you,
I'm the petitioner.
you're the petitioner, and you have a meeting this Saturday?
Yes,
That's
that's our
what you had
first
said?
At
of
2
three
o'clock.
public.
Okay, okay, I think those are all my questions right now,
Okay, can we come back to you?
maybe.
Wait a minute.
All right.
Karen, you have questions?
I don't have any other questions than the timing, which you just answered.
No questions.
No questions.
Question. I got a question for Noah. Is this, would you say that this house, or is there any other structure that is primarily associated with the stone carver, Ivan Adams?
Well, aside from his work, the two properties that he lived at, one is here, the other one's, the house that he built down on, let's see, I think I have it here, down on South Rogers. That does have a workshop associated with it. I haven't taken a close look at the building now. That's from the later portion of his career. I mean, he stayed pretty active until his death.
So this building is associated with the part of his career for which he is most known, question mark, or is that debatable and you don't know yet, you need more information?
Hard to say. Let's see, I may have to look into that more honestly. Because some of the stuff like you see here, the relief that Dr. Butler pointed out, as well as his work on the Chicago Fine Arts Plaza, some of those from the period where he was living at his house on 12th Street. A lot of his religious statues are from later in his life, as well as I believe some of his work on cathedrals. So, I mean, I would really have to make an inventory to tell.
Thank you. So, looks like there's some questions from.
Do you want to go first?
No, I was just saying that, forgive me.
John
Yes.
Butler?
Yes, he seemed to have a wealth of knowledge on this gentleman's career, maybe could be contribute to your.
He may. He also has a vested interest in it, and I would like Noah to corroborate whatever information we get from all parties. Just, I mean, not that I don't trust you, sir, but I don't want to be shown to have prejudice in any way.
Please do.
Jeremy.
I have a question for Noah. Do we have, or do you know of any contributing houses in Bloomington that have been designated based mainly just on the historic character of the building rather than the architectural significance?
The cultural.
Yeah, I know that there's a number of individually designated buildings that are rated contributing. I would have to go back and see what they were designated for.
That's just curious to me, and just liking to
I'm
know
trying to think
if there
about
is
it.
that sort of precedent for doing that.
I mean, it is one of your two sets of criteria. I would hope that that would be a set that could be used.
I hear you. All right. Any other questions?
I have comments, so.
All right. Protocol insists that we.
I'll share one,
Oh,
just
please do
kind
so.
of where we're coming from.
Yes, sir.
And initially, the criteria was just contributing within the historical district when we bought it.
Yes, sir.
And then last time at the demo, it was proposed for release. It's not, and obviously there's more information. I appreciate that you're looking into it to see if this falls under that category, going into whether his time there was during a significant time. But on our behalf, like financially, to to correct this house the way the work needs to be done. It's just not a strong financial decision for us to try to rehab this. That's just.
I hear what you're saying.
So.
Where were we?
Motion.
We were at motion.
One of the people online raised her hand. She stated in the chat that she had a hard time getting her mic unmuted and
Okay.
all that. So I think we may have another person from the public that wants to speak. if
I would
that's-
be happy to hear them.
Okay, all right, so, two people have their hands up. I'm gonna go with Erin McCamey first because she is yet to speak. And then Judith Barnes has her hand. I'll go with her next, so. Erin, are you on?
Yes, I am. I'm outside on my porch again, and I am standing in front of my house, which is right next to 115, which is the house questioning to be demolished. I cannot believe the history of this house. First of all, I didn't know that I was so lucky to live next to a house that has, I mean, fingers throughout Bloomington, throughout the world, throughout the community. So it makes me wonder what my house has connected into it from this person who has been, building the limestone and whatnot. I do apologize. I am standing out on the porch. As I said, I do have dogs inside. I'm trying to make the best decision for where this, the discussion should go. But I am in huge fear that when and if this building gets torn down, how that's gonna affect me, how it's gonna affect my taxes, how it's gonna affect everything. I have animals, I like to walk barefoot on my property. How is this gonna go, and Noah, can you answer those questions for me? Like who's gonna be in charge of that? If things, get to that point of tearing down this beautiful home that has a history where you could put plaques on this house and you could have college kids come and visit the home and see this home, like what you do elementary kids, you give them a tour around town and you tell them all these beautiful places and the things that these kids could be and like want to achieve for their lives, and you're just gonna rip it down. So I, am really curious going forward if this choice is to be made, how am I, as a homeowner right next to this property, going to be protected, and how am I going to deal with that, and who am I going to deal with directly? How, because I feel like the city would want to know that these people may not have the best intent when they're tearing it down. It's just it's a quick turn. It's a quick turn, and that's all they want is money. They're not wanting to benefit the neighborhood by any means. And it's very worrisome because there are a lot of people in this neighborhood who love it for the sheer beauty and the construct of the community. Granted that we interact with college kids and we're adults and whatnot, we understand that they're living their best lives and things like that, but so are these people going to make sure that the kids aren't trashing the yard? They're not throwing glassware everywhere like college students do. Like, how are they going to make sure that people coming into this house that they're going to rebuild or whatever are going to uplift this community? Like, how is that a thing? Because I don't think that's going to be a thing. So I would like to know how the city is also going to implement that.
That is actually not, that's actually not under the purview of the HPC. What the question we have to look at tonight is whether this house merits designation or it doesn't. And then what happens after it, if it's merits designation, then we have some control, then we have some say. If it does not merit designation, then we are not the people to talk to. But what we need to, what we're deciding here tonight is whether or not this house merits designation or whether to release it to be demolished. And there's mitigating factors that your entire neighborhood has come together, which we are very happy to see. And this house is I believe, the catalyst of that. That said, we're looking at this house under the lens of, is it worthy of designation or not? That's what we have to look at tonight.
Okay.
We have one more. Do you have anything else to add on that front?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Did you have any other comments directly relating to that question?
Directly related to that question, I guess I do not. I feel like my residents, my co-residents have actually held up their end and making sure of, everything is asked. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. Thank you. We are happy to hear from everyone here. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you giving me the time. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Did we have one more person, Eddie?
The other one was just raising her hand on behalf of Aaron to get our attention there. So let me double check. Judith Barnes stated, can you repeat the criteria for historic designation?
I'm gonna have to pull up that lady.
I mean, I have it.
Jeremy's got it on hand if you want to let Jeremy do it too.
Yeah. An historic district must be ruled to meet one of the two following criteria by the Historic Preservation Commission. Historic, A, has significant character, interest, or value as part of the development, heritage, or cultural characteristics of the city, state, nation, or is associated with a person who played a significant role in local, state, or national history. B, is the site of a historic event. C, exemplifies the cultural, political, economical, social, or historical heritage of the community. So those are all the historic elements that we can consider. For architecture, A, embodies distinguishing characteristics of an architectural or engineering type. B, is the work of a designer whose individual work has significantly influenced development of the community. Or C, is the work of a designer of such prominence that such work gains its value from the designer's reputation. Or D, contains elements of design, detail, materials, or craftsmanship which represents a significant innovation. Or E, contains any architectural style, detail or element in danger of being lost. Or F, owing to its unique location or physical characteristics, represents an established and familiar visual feature of a neighborhood of the city. Or G, exemplifies the built environment in an era of history characterized by a distinctive architectural style. It's a lot of things.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Noah's looked at this, and the one he's come up with is cultural. I might need to check out for water in here just in a sec. He's got 1A as value as part of the development, heritage, or cultural characteristics. And what I heard him say, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, Noah, that this is most strongly associated with the residency of Ivan Adams.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Do you need to get water?
Would you pause for just a moment for me? I'll be right back. All right, everyone.
Recording stopped.
Thank you. All right.
Recording in progress.
So we are at the point in the evening where we are going to make a motion, and then we need to talk about it, and we ask for your forbearance and polite civility why we discussed it amongst ourselves. Is anyone feeling brave?
What's the opposite of not releasing?
Well, I think there are there are three options. One is what the petitioner is asking for is to release. One is to say, we don't know enough, and we want NOAA to look into this more deeply and see if this recommendation by staff has merit, if this, some of the questions I was asking about, is this the workshop house associated with him? Is this where it is, basically? Or are there other things that we've missed? I mean, he's looked into it fairly significantly up till this point. So, and then the other one is to ask Common Council to recommend it for designation to the Common Council. Am I missing anything?
That's it.
Okay, that's what we got. 3 things.
I would move that we ask NOAA to what?
Is there a 4th?
I think you can just continue it.
And we can continue it.
Just continue to see if they can organize to form a
Right, the
district.
clock keeps ticking on the 90 days. But if you all decide that you want to continue it to let some things shake out, I think you could decide.
And would that
to do
need a motion to continue?
You would need to, someone would need to make a motion and it would need to prevail, that's correct.
Okay, I'd be willing to move that we continue this matter to the next meeting.
This one right here.
Oh, DD 2518.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Do we want any discussion?
Well,
I just have a quick question.
You,
So I know there's one meeting on Saturday at 2 that's scheduled. Legally, how, do they have to have so many meetings or how, I forgot, I know we've covered this, so I apologize.
They're required to have 3.
3, and is there any like,
And they have to be,
do they have to be spaced out so far or any
it's
criteria?
highly advisable. You want buy-in by the
Right.
neighbors. by
I
the
just wasn't
property.
sure if they have to be like a month apart, like I just didn't know what kind of timeline or just
They just have to be publicly noticed.
3 meetings.
3 meetings publicly noticed.
Okay.
So it can be very tight. There are consequences for it being very tight, but you can do that.
Okay, because the only reason, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say their 90 days would be up on October 27th, I do believe.
And we're in September.
And it is at the discretion of this person here as to whether or not to extend it, so be
Okay.
nice.
I don't have a lot of options, just another 30-day
Yeah.
extension.
Okay. Because the only reason I was asking is I just thought at least giving them Saturday to see who they hear back from after all that work. I forget how many, 100+ houses, property owners. So that's why I like Bernard's idea is even just the continuation, just to be able to see maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't, but at least give them through Saturday to get a feel for that. I don't know how the other commissioners feel, but I think it's worth all that effort they put in to let that, at least give them through Saturday to see how that shakes out.
So that's why you support
Correct. Yeah. That's why I think it's a good idea. Just a continuation. We're not asking Common Council yet, and we're not releasing. We're just seeing, how's it go? That's why I like that idea.
Okay. Do I have any further comments from, say, Karen?
Well, I think our question is a little bit different than their question.
I agree.
I can read it on your face that you feel that too. But I think this, by continuing it, could give Noah more time to line up the correspondence between the date that Mr. Ivan lived in the house and which works he did. Chicago, the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. I didn't even know he did that. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, so it would be very nice to see how this corresponds, particularly with the limestone industry being so fundamental in Bloomington.
Yeah, this is the architectural limestone capital of the nation.
Of the nation, and it's one of the 2 economic drivers of the whole development of the city, the other being the Showers Company. So I like giving Noah more time to line that up, and it also allows the neighbors to continue with their meetings, and which, by the way, I assume we're invited to. Any members would like to attend are welcome to attend. Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, we haven't been invited yet, but we'll see.
We did put it in the paper.
In the paper.
So
In the paper.
everyone-
Okay, everybody's invited.
Who wants to come? It's an informational meeting.
That's
No,
right.
wait, yeah, we're supposed to be talking amongst ourselves over here.
Yeah.
We'll,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
I was gonna say, yes, in addition to a slightly, more specific timeline on the works of art, I also didn't realize that we were going to have to contend with a second property that was also part of the same artist's history. So having a sense, I mean, like not making a decision about that, but in making a case for this one, I would think we would be asked, like, wait, isn't there already this other building? So I would just like to see that information integrated into the,
Thank you.
to make our application as strong as possible.
If we in fact do make an application, yes. Renard, you have thoughts?
Yeah, I'm looking at criterion 1A with regards to the development, heritage, and cultural significance of the city, state, or nation. I believe that there is enough to support that just in Noah's presentation, and associated with a person who played a significant role in local, state, or national history. Again, it can be argued to what degree, but if it is, I believe that a contribution was made by this good gentleman, and at least a prima facie case has been made to support further investigation, I believe. And I'd be willing to grant Noah and others sufficient time to bolster their case, make it more specific, using specific periods of time in which what work was done and where it was done and who else may have been involved and what other sites may have been involved, for us to make a more informed decision at a later date.
Jeremy?
I think I disagree with most everybody that's spoken already. I appreciate Noah's work on this. I think he wrote out a lot of good information here. I think my issue with the historic designation, going that route, is it being associated with a person. Yes, the person lived here. His work was done elsewhere. And I would think that would be more associated with him in those areas. I don't know if saving this specific house is really the way to honor that person. All of his work is all around the country. That's wonderful, but nobody is associating this house with this dude. We found this out now, okay, but it wasn't during his time period. People were not coming to this house and being like, oh my gosh, here's this great stone carver, you're wonderful. They're going and seeing his stuff elsewhere. And given that also doesn't meet the architectural guidelines, I'm not seeing it. As part of a larger district, it is contributing, bring it in with a lot of the other sort of like outstanding things. I could see that happening, but before us today is this demolition delay, and I'm considering that on its own. So I would vote no.
Do you have?
May I?
Please do.
It says here, or is associated with a person who played a significant role. So was the person's role significant? One, and is the house associated with him? I don't see how we could not glean that from the research that was done. Is his role significant? It didn't say that the house. Maybe I'm.
What I think Jeremy is saying is different. What I think he's saying is like, does this house embody how he did his work? Does this house, where he did his most famous work, or is there another building that is better suited to do that?
But it doesn't say
I would disagree.
It says, or is associated with a person who
Mhm.
played a significant role.
Mm-hmm.
And it's associated with a person, Mr. Adams, and Mr. Adams played a significant role. It's literally the common understanding of the words that are on the page. I'm not reading anything more into what is said here. I'm having a difficulty associating the perspective with the words, with the common understanding of the words that are on the page. I don't see how we move from that to the interpretation that you just gave. I'm having a disconnect.
That's fine, but we're not debating. These are just comments right now. But in my opinion, so you would have the Wiley house that is associated with Andrew Wiley. People know that is the place. People do not know that this house is associated with this person. He lived there.
Right.
It's not associated. It's not associated with his work. He didn't do his work there. There's none of his limestone carvings are there. So I view that as a slightly different thing. So anyway.
Yeah. So that is, I mean, I would agree with you in that what structure are you going to associate with this person, and is it this house? And I would, I hear that this house, as part of a whole, as part of a district, it's a no-brainer, right? It's got enough architectural stuff. It's contributing. It's not designatable on its own architecturally. And I find it, I am very reluctant to buy into the argument that this is the place where you, that is most associated with Mr. Adams.
Can I ask this?
Please.
May I?
All right.
No, the question was asked of Noah if he could say which work was attached to which house. And Noah, if you're online, you can correct me, but I heard that there was some doubt in your mind to associate particular works or particular periods in this house. Would I be correct or incorrect in that in that perspective?
No, I think it would be fairly easy to figure out.
What can you say
what
now?
works or involved with his time in this house versus his time in the other house. What I would struggle with, at least right now, is determining, whether the scale is weighted in favor of one building or the other.
Right, so you couldn't say whether his most seminal works were created in this house or the other house.
Or in any, this is
Or
not
in
where
any.
he worked. That's the point. I think that's the point you're making. He did not work here, he lived here.
But the point I'm making is that the word association is non-specific. It just says associated with him. It didn't say associated with him in any particular way. Now that is a point that could be argued, right? I believe that the common definition of the word associated is lived there, worked there, visited. I don't know, but it doesn't. Associated is not used in a term which would lead me to believe that it's specific only to whether he actually carved these works there. And obviously, some of them are on buildings. He really couldn't have done them there. So I'm just looking at using the common definition of the language used in 1A, and I believe that the boxes are checked. And at the very least, I would like to see some more evidence presented, maybe specific to the doubts that are being expressed to what work is associated with what period over when he lived in this house as opposed to the other house.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
I concur with everyone.
With what?
I concur.
I think we are at the vote calling. We've had public comment.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. I think we have enough information to call it in.
Ready?
Please call a vote.
Okay. So, we're voting to continue, is that correct?
That is, yes, we're voting to continue it.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear, okay.
I was right there with you. I was
Okay.
thinking the same thing.
Yep. Okay, Daniel Schlegel. Sam DeSaller.
Yes.
Reynard Cross.
Yes.
Jeremy Hackard.
No.
Melody Dusner.
Yes.
Motion to continue is carried 4-1.
Thank you.
I gotta read the thing now, don't I? All right. Actually, there isn't verbiage for continuing on here.
No, I don't think we have to read.
So there's nothing for me to read.
Okay.
Okay.
Drag everybody.
I'm used to reading.
All right, do we have old business or do we want to kick it all to the next meeting?
Do you want to ask again if there's anybody here for the COAs?
Oh, yes, that's a very good idea. Do we have any additional, nobody
Anybody
online?
online for the,
things that were kicked to
No
the
one
end?
knew it's come online.
All right,
Still the same
I think
ones.
we officially can,
The one for
did we continue them or table them? I keep getting
So
mixed up.
we're gonna continue them.
Thank you.
Let's go, we review those, get continued.
which ones were not voted on?
Matlock Heights, Glendora Avenue.
Yes,
704
yes. Yes, I've passed that along. I'm gonna go check that out.
So A, COA 2554 is continued.
And 702 West Kirkwood with the windows.
Yes, so that's
Yeah, that one's-
2559, that's continued.
And 704 Wiley.
Yep, which is
2558.
2560.
Yeah.
It's. So Noah, I just wanted to check with you, so 702 West Kirkwood, it's in a couple different places, it's 59 or 58. And I'm not sure which the correct number is, so by address it will be continued, but can you help us figure out what the actual number is for the next time?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
She's retired as of end of August.
And then.
So sad.
Okay. Sir Chair, I think we're straight.
I was not gonna say for new business, I didn't know if that was part of it or how that goes into.
It's 58.
Oh, okay, thanks, Noah.
Yeah, 59 is the Spirit.
Which house is the one?
Okay.
58, the Kirkwood one with the windows is 58. Thanks.
It's the one with the basement window.
Continue, yeah.
So, Noah, do we have anything else on the agenda under old business that cannot be pushed
Already
until
asking Karen, windows
the
on the
next
roof,
meeting?
Karen.
I think people are tired.
No.
All right, hearing no objections, seeing no objections, I'm going to adjourn us. Thank you all for coming and for your patience.
Thank you.